The Bulls are reportedly shopping Nikola Vucevic, Patrick Williams, and Lonzo Ball in an attempt to retool around Josh Giddey. We're going to talk about all that plus more and why Pat calls me NJ right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over ESPN 1000. I'm Hayes, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages, and podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Pat, the Bulls are shopping the players that we all think that they should be shopping. Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, Patrick Williams. This came out from a report from Jake L. Fisher in regards to kind of the Bulls and their thought process of trading up, trading down in the draft, which seems like they may be a little bit more openness than what we initially thought. But overall, the Bulls are really focused on re-signing Josh Giddey and making the roster make more sense down the direction that they started last year. How do you feel about this, Pat?
I mean, listen, we've heard about them shopping these players the entire time. We've talked about them ad nauseum. We know they want to move them ahead of the draft. They want to gain more capital in this draft, which if you just traded Lonzo, could have had it. Anyway, $10 million. The for him to do a shooting drill. Did you see that the other day?
Yeah.
You see him like just shoot? I was like, you look fine to me. Wrist looks fine.
He says he's ready. He's happy to be back in the lab. The problem, never mind. I'm just
we ain't gonna get on that. But no, I mean, listen, the fact that the Bulls are shopping these pieces isn't a surprise to me. The question is, are there any takers for these pieces ahead of the draft? I think that honestly, the biggest question surrounding guys like Nikola Vucevic, surrounding Pwill, surrounding Lonzo Ball is, who's the team that wants to come in this draft and give up capital to go after a piece that, I mean, I guess if it's one to put you over the top, maybe if you're late in the draft. We talked about the Clippers possibly being a team that could be intrigued on a player like Vooch because of his health and time there. Maybe you do that, but also I can also go get a big man who's younger and is going to be around longer, who can fit in and be a high floor, low ceiling player right now who just comes in and does his job. So I think it's going to be tough to move these guys ahead of the deadline. I think more than likely the scenario is they end up getting moved post ahead of the deadline, ahead of the draft. They probably end up getting moved post draft, but we'll see if AK can work some magic. He's been having a weirdly, would you call this a successful offseason at this point?
I mean, what has he done?
I think just a lot of the moves that he's or I guess I'll say this, a lot of the moves he's expected to make feel like they actually line up in order.
No, I mean, it does seem like the Bulls, and we'll get into that more in the second time. It does seem like the Bulls have once again picked a direction, and now they're actively making moves that support that direction, which is good. That's great. But as far as I mean, don't get me wrong. There's more rumored activity than what I expected.
Yeah.
But I got to see him actually do something, right?
Yeah.
Like before I'm willing to say it. Now, if he pulls off any of these, if you're able to move off Alonzo, Pwill, or Vooch and get back into the first round of this draft, listen, hats off to you if you can get back. There's a lot of teams with multiple draft picks. And one that want to move off of some of those. So if you can do that, great. That's taking advantage of the market. That's taking advantage of all that. I think that this is the draft that you want to do that in. So I'd be happy if you can do that. If you can move off P. Will's contract at 1 year after signing it, that'd be an amazing move. And I want to be clear. I do still think that there's some chance and possibility that P. Will can still salvage his NBA career, but it don't need to be here. I mean, that's just what it comes down. It doesn't need to be here at this point. So, we'll see what the Bulls end up doing. Let me throw this to you though, just because we both agree kind of on what needs to happen with Lonzo, what should have happened last year at the trade deadline with Lonzo. But if Lonzo is healthy, is there a bigger case to actually keep him because of the way he does contribute to winning when he's on the basketball court? Or Pat, have you reached the point where it's like you don't even want to risk it anymore with Lonzo? There's been way too many injuries. You're just over trying to risk it with Lonzo.
Yeah, no, it's not worth chancing it. Yes, is Lonzo incredibly impactful on the court? 100%. But when literally, I think even more so, right, when you hear how DeMar and Zach talk about him, you realize, oh, like he was actually the linchpin to all of this. That time has passed. You know what I mean? There isn't a world for me where Lonzo Ball is healthy. You know why? Because none of us live in a world where Lonzo Ball has been healthy. We haven't seen a Lonzo Ball healthy season in 5 years. And
really,
if we being honest,
career.
The healthy season that he had was in a lockout season.
That, you know what, when you put it that way, like, and that's why I say things like, I know that Lonzo has his fans, and rightfully not hating on Lonzo having his fan base, but when people are like, well, the knee's fine, it's like, yeah, but the problem was never just the knee. Like, I think we've lost the plot. The knee became the biggest story because of the last 3 years. It's been because of the knee, but like, you got to be clear here between the wrist. What was it? At one point, it was an ankle, not just the knee either. Like, it's been a lot of
the back.
Injuries. Yeah, back. It's been a lot of stuff with Lonzo that has impacted his career. And at this point, with him basically being a 1 year expiring contract, I think you need to shop him. Like, yeah, you can get off the contract at the end of this year with the team option. That's great too, that they work themselves to have that flexibility in there. But if a team's calling because they look at Lonzo and they say, hey, after we make this trade for Kevin Durant, a Lonzo Ball trade makes a lot of sense for us because it's low impact and he can absolutely help us. Send him away. I almost said not locked on approved, but
you could have got away with that one.
Yeah, I could have, but I'm trying to tighten it up a little bit around here.
But no, man, I think like I see people who are on the other side of the argument. King Tech in the comments said we should keep it zone unless we get another first round pick. Honestly, everyone gets injured. Yeah, not everyone plays 70 games in 4 seasons. 70 games in 4 seasons. By the way, not all at once. 35 games, missed an entire year. 35 games, missed an entire year.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get it. And like I said, that's why I asked the question, because I do get why people say, like, well, let's keep Lonzo because of the way he impacts. Like, per plus minus plus on off, he was one of our most impactful players. But the problem is that it doesn't show how frequently he was off the court. Like, on and off court numbers look great. But when you're off the court more than you're on, those numbers only get you so far, my brother. So, you know, it is what it is there. As far as Vooch, I get it that Bulls fans are over Vooch, and rightfully so. I think he doesn't really fit in with what the team is doing anymore, the direction they're trying to go. So them shopping Vooch makes the most sense that they have there. But I do think that you can get teams. I think the asking price of the Bulls is what's going to determine how quickly Vooch is moved. If the Bulls are holding out hope for some great value, then that may not come into the trade deadline. If the Bulls do draft a big and they realize we just need to get him off the roster to open up some minutes for this kid that we draft, not starting, but open up some minutes, then I think you find a deal easier. So I think those are the things. The biggest one is Patrick Williams. Yeah. He has 4 years left on that contract. If you can move Pwill with that amount of time left, hey, listen, that almost assuredly makes it the offseason a win for you because nobody's expecting that.
I think the one that's least likely to be moved, honestly, is Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
I think he's the one that is probably going to be on this team. He's going to be some sort of role player on this team. I get that the Bulls are finally ready to move on from him, but you've signed him to this deal, and I think that this is kind of what you're going to do. You have to find some way to utilize him. I understand that it has not worked to this point, but you need to get something out of him off of the bench, or it's. Yeah, I mean, like you put yourself in this position, or he's going to become a Javon Carter, where he's sitting on the bench for the next 4 seasons, and you're taking nothing back to basically try and move on from him. It is crazy, is where it feels like we're coming to the end of the Vooch era here, though. Is Vooch a top 10 Chicago Bull all time?
Top 10? Hell no. Yeah, come on, let's do Jordan
Vooch,
Pippen, Rodman.
Vooch has been here 5 years and has been consistently a double-double every year. Vooch has been pretty good here.
True, but yeah, that's if you're looking at the offensive stats. Like, he's still been bad defensively. We haven't won a lot. Like, and that's not all on Vooch. I'm not putting that all on Vooch, but like, I don't think he's a top 10. Like, you could maybe say he's maybe a top 10 center.
You got your obvious 5, right? You got Jordan, you got Pip, you got Dennis. Which Dennis was not here very long, but you got Dennis because he won championships. You got Horace. You got Derek.
You got Derek. You got Jimmy. You got Luol Deng.
You got Jimmy.
You got Luol Deng. He was a 3-time All-Star while he was here. Kirk Heinrich's one of the greatest Bulls statistically of all time as far as being in the record book.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but it was because we didn't shoot threes. But yes, he was our 3-point leader.
I'm just saying. Like,
Zach was being immediately obliterated, and then Joakim Noah Joakim Noah.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention Noah.
Yeah,
Come
Joakim
on, bro.
Noah.
Like,
I mean, we still at
I'm
8.
putting Taj above Nikola Vucevic.
That's where it gets tough.
No, see, I don't got
Now,
Taj
no,
above
see,
Vooch.
here's the thing. Now Love is coming into it. Nikola Vucevic is a better player than Taj Gibson.
Yeah, I mean, as far as on the offensive side of the ball, but let's be clear. Like Taj, there were times where Taj was so important to the Bulls defense while we were one of the best defensive teams in the league. Yeah, I mean, of course, the legends.
The legends, yeah, Jerry Sloan.
So, top 10 is tough.
Top 15? I mean, he right there.
DeMar's ahead of Vooch. I put DeMar ahead of Vooch. He broke Wilt records, my boy. You break Wilt records in our uniform, you go above that.
Is Vooch ahead of Zach?
Nah.
See, now I feel like we just hating on Vooch. Like I'm not. Vooch has been a dominant player.
Vooch has. See, that's
offensively, offensively,
and I wouldn't even call it like when Vooch has put up great numbers. Make no mistake about it. But how many games really have we looked at and been like Vooch dominated this game? Even when he does put up numbers.
That's because he's always been the number 3. Like Vooch has played the Chris Bosh role elitely here. It just hasn't helped with wins.
I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. We're going to continue the conversation. We're going to talk about the Bulls retooling yet again. But first, we got to get to a message from FanDuel.
That's cute.
Listen. Pat's trying, man.
I was looking at Vooch numbers.
Pat's trying. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. What would it look like to combine live player props bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds? If you got a read on who's heating up, why not back it up with a same-game parlay? New to FanDuel, it's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. Too busy in them numbers, bro.
I was looking at Vooch numbers, bro. Hey, somebody who just said this? Said Vooch or Boozer?
And see, now that gets into how much do you value winning? The Bulls won more with Boozer. They were here around a similar amount of time. I think Vooch has one extra year.
I don't think that Vooch is anywhere near the winners that the others have been.
Yeah.
But I mean, Vooch a better player than Carlos Boozer.
Yeah. Vooch
is a better basketball player than Carlos. You put Derrick Rose with Vooch.
Hell, you put, and even I know it's a different era. You put Noah with Vooch,
like dominating.
Yeah.
And also, we realize we talk. Nikola Vucevic plays in 2025. We still talk about him as a top 15 dude.
Yeah. Matter of fact, no, I said Noah, but hell, if the Bulls had a prime Taj Gibson next to Nikola Vucevic, one of the best balanced front courts in the league. If you were able to do it.
Well, I mean, we may have that if we get Daniel Gafford back.
Gafford plays center. They're not going to. Come on now. This Billy Donovan, he's not going to use double bigs. But with that said, the Bulls are aiming to. I don't know if I titled this retooling yet again, but I guess it's not really yet again. It's continuing the retool that they started last year. And the question I want to throw to you, Pat, because this kind of goes into draft conversation and stuff like that. Do you prioritize the defensive rim protecting lob threat big? Is that what the Bulls are missing more in this retool, or are they missing more a perimeter defender that has 3-and-D capability? Which one do you think is the biggest need for where the Bulls are currently on this retool that they started last season?
I think big, because you're trying to get rid of a big. You know what I mean? Like the hope is that Matas Buzelis can become a little bit of that 3-and-D type of player. The hope is that some of the pieces you have on this team where you can say, you know, his defensive game has improved enough, his 3-point shot has improved enough while still being the rim runner. I think that you can look at Ayo Dosunmu probably taking on that role as well, depending on if he gets into the starting lineup or not next season. There's a couple of pieces on this team that could be 3-and-D. You don't have anybody who is going to be able to, as we've had this conversation here of, you know, where does Vooch rank? There's nobody on this team right now that can fill his shoes. And maybe you could fit in a little bit more defensively, But offensively, there's not a single player on this team that can help you as much as Vooch can down low. So I do think that you need to that you have to find a way to replace that. And it doesn't have to all be scoring. I mean, like, you can shift where the scoring comes from. Kobe can take more shots if he's on this team. Modest can take more shots, which is kind of what I expect this season. And, adjust and change to a rim protecting, rim running big, which probably fits a little bit more with Josh Giddey. But to that same effect, right, do you need the guy who can be the big that can be the rim runner or the shot blocker, but also has the 3-point capability? I think you have to figure out what you want from that position first before addressing a perimeter playing 3-and-D kind of player, because I just feel like that's something that you're not going to be able to replace what you're giving up with Vooch with what you currently have on the roster.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming with that, especially like the IO portion of it. Like, I do think at some point we need to talk about, as much as like we talked about with Kobe last year, like, this needs to be a year where IO needs to be making the case for himself to be the starting 3 this year. Like, I get it that Kevin Huerter played really good in that one, but coming into training camp, IO should have his eyes set on being that starting 3 for the Chicago Bulls. I don't know if he'll get there, but I think that's what his goal should be.
Do you want? I think that 6-man role is so important for him, though. Like, I do view Io as a Alex Caruso style of player. You got to be healthy enough to do it. It's gonna beat the heck out of you, but I think that he can be that kind of player. I just think that where the anything you need, I got to do this. You need me to do this. You need me to play this. You need me, right? Like, anything you need me to do, I can go out there and do. I think that's where Io is going to really stand out the most. But I mean, I guess if he does make a push to be in the starting lineup, it's an interesting lineup though. Giddey, Kobe, Io, Modest, whoever the big is, rookie big or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, Io's defense becomes
6'5",
6 something with the wingspan. But his best basketballs typically come when he's played at the 3.
Yeah,
so we'll see. I mean, like you said though, there's going to be a key role. Io's going to play starter level minutes regardless. That's not even a question.
6'5", 200 pounds. He's only 200 pounds.
That got to be updated. Are you looking at the media site? Check the media site, because I doubt ESPN has updated Io DeSumu's weight. There's no way Io DeSumu's still only 200 pounds. I just don't believe that.
That would be.
That's
he
crazy.
don't look big. I mean, he looks bigger than where he was, but he don't look
like 215 or anything. But I don't think. I don't know. I can't say that he's got. Maybe he is. He is. It is all muscle. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, 200 pounds of muscle. But my thing is, if you play in the 3, you playing a lot of dudes in this league that are 220, 225. You know what I mean? Nah, he's got the wingspan, he's got the strength, all of that. So I'm not as worried about that with Io DeSumo. But I do think it's going to be. Let me see. Io DeSumo, 6'4", 201. They got him 6'4". I don't know about the 3. We'll see, though. I mean, he do got the wingspan, but that's.
We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, what happens there. But so that's the part. Is there anything else that you feel like the Bulls are missing stylistic wise that they need for the type of style and the roster that they want to have that they don't have on the roster yet?
I don't think you have a grit guy. I just don't. I don't think you have a guy, and maybe Io DeSumo does become that, but like which is kind of what I've said. But every winning team has that guy. Every winning team has that guy that's willing to do whatever it takes to win a game. And I don't feel like the Bulls have that guy. I think have guys.
So you're saying you want Dylan Brooks or Draymond Green, whatever it takes to win the game.
Maybe not that. Yeah, I mean, you don't got to choke nobody out, or Dylan. I don't even know what Dylan Brooks does. Dylan Brooks just kind of stares awkwardly. But at least Draymond's willing to throw a punch. But I just
see Dylan tries to get you to throw the punch so you can get eliminated. You can get ejected out the game. That's what he tries to do.
Yeah. Dylan looks like young Iced Tea. That's what he does. He just stares at you like a young
Jackson
Iced
Jr.
Tea.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, man. But no, I just, to me, I think you need somebody who's willing to do the dirty work. And I don't think the Bulls have that. Usually that comes from a big man position. We'll see if they find that in the draft. I don't think there's a player like that in the draft. Maybe Derek Queen?
No, a big man that does the dirty work defensively, that would be Thomas Sorber. I think he's the closest you get to that.
Yeah, but I don't even think that's dirty work. I think he's just good at defense. Like
you want
I'm
somebody
saying,
who throws an elbow.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
I get what you're saying.
The guy the Joakim Noah, right?
Okay.
It didn't matter what was going to happen on the floor. Joakim was going to find him. You need me to pass? Bet I got 11 assists for you. You need me to go out there and block 10 shots? Bet I got you. You know, I feel like that's what the Bulls are missing right now, and it doesn't have to all be on the defensive side, but you just have to have that guy that's willing to say, I need you to give me 10% more. And I don't know if they have that right now.
That's fair. That's fair. We're going to continue this conversation. We're going to talk about the Pacers coming up next. But first, we got to get into this.
And get right out of
it. Anyway, Pat, before we get up out of here, man, the Pacers lost game 5 last night. It's now shifted game 6. Tyrese Haliburton put up a Pwill stat line. The Pacers cooked. Also, he has a calf injury, which contributed to that. Now, he did say after the game, if he can walk, he's going to play. That's what he said. And listen, I think that's admirable. Like, we've seen too much in the league where players sit when they could be playing. This is the most important series. He talked about the fact that he played his whole life to be able to get to the NBA Finals. If he can walk, he's going to play. But when you're playing that way, it kind of hurts the team. Now, they got out to a deficit early, which is always the thing that hurts them against the Thunder. They had a really good third quarter. Are the Pacers completely cooked in this series, or do they have a chance to push this to game 7?
I don't think the Pacers are cooked just yet. I think there's a chance. First off, Scott Foster's coming, so we know the extender is here. There's about to be 96 free throw shots in this next game. But listen, the Pacers may be cooked for one reason. For some reason, Mike Daigneault finally figured out, hey, Tyrese Haliburton cannot play versus Lou Dort. Like, legitimately cannot play. Before this NBA Finals, I believe it was in 166 possessions while being guarded by Lou Dort. Tyrese Haliburton scored on 6.
That's crazy.
Like, it took till game 5 for you to figure that out. Or maybe Daigneault got the call from the NBA and was like, don't put Dort on Tyrese until game 5. Like, bro, Tyrese Haliburton last night was the first all-NBA player to miss every shot in the finals game since 1958. Like, we can say the calf injury led to that. I've watched, and I'm not saying he's not hurt, but I've watched players with much worse injuries score a field goal. That man was getting passed off between Lou Dort and Alex Caruso. Write your own joke here. I was surprised Doris Burke didn't break out an Eiffel Tower joke.
Bonjour. And Doris Burke is a national treasure. I remember the things going on. They were thinking about removing her from coverage. They better not. Anyway,
she having I said this last night. I don't know what's going on in her personal life, and so I'm not gonna sit there and clown her. She's having a bad final.
Yeah, she is having a bad.
She's having a bad final.
It's not what we've come accustomed with.
It's not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
I don't know what all is happening, so I'm not gonna sit here and clown her and do all that, all the hooping and hollering that everybody's doing, and y'all doing it on stupid stuff, like stuff that's actually just like that's just a regular call. But she having a bad finals. That's okay. Something may be going on that we don't know about that we're gonna find out later on down the line, or she may just be having a bad finals. Do better. There we go. But no, man, yeah, the Pacers might be cooked because I think Mike Daigneault just figured out that analytics would say keep Lou Dort on Tyrese Haliburton, and this team has nothing if Tyrese Haliburton is not scoring.
Yeah, I mean, if and again, Tyrese Haliburton is the player that you don't need him to do like 25, 28. That's not the type of player he is, but you do need Tyrese. If you look at the stat line, the assists, the rebounds are all around where you need them, but you need that 18, 19 points from Tyrese Haliburton for your offense to really hum the way that it can. So, we'll see. Like you said, I don't think they're cooked, but the problem is that, I mean, they got one more game. Either they're going to get eliminated or they're going to push it to game 7. That's the only thing that can happen in game 6 here for them, but they're going back home. They've been one of the best home teams in the playoffs. Let's hope that they can push that, just because selfishly, I want a game 7. I want a game 7 in the NBA Finals. I think that would just be a crazy thing to have. It would be great to have, especially with the way that this series has been so back and forth. I want to see a game 7, so I hope the Pacers can come out in game 5 and perform much better.
In games where Tyrese Haliburton is attempting 15 or more field goals, the Pacers are 26-16. In games where he scores 20 points or more, they're 25-3.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey,
You got to find a way to get him open.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and he has 3 days. They don't play again till Thursday. With 2 days, 2 complete days off, Tuesday and Wednesday, where they take the court again on Thursday. But hopefully that's enough to get that calf issue loosened up a little bit for him, because you cannot have the game that you had in Game 5 if you want a chance.
And to be honest, bro, like the Pacers as a team, if they turn the basketball over like that, it's
22 turnovers.
They were horrible. Yeah. I mean, they weren't even good turnovers. Like, there is no good turnover, but it wasn't like it was a turnover because you were about to make a play. It was like a turnover like Pascal Siakam knees knocked together and the ball.
Bro, it started to be like Alex Caruso would do the Debo jump at him, and they would drop the ball. Like, I got you. Got you.
Bro, I swear. I was sitting there watching it last night. I was like, bro, like, they losing the ball out of fear.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many Zach LaVine ups where the ball just was gone they had? Like,
that's not one player that you want to emulate. You don't want to hear Zach LaVine type isms in the finals. You don't want to hear that.
Bro, it's got to be terrifying when he throws his baby in the air.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. That was the line. That was the line.
That was the line?
That was the line.
I feel like that was a regular joke. I was doing the up thing and the baby go fly. I don't know. Back at him. Yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, or why did I run that back? Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. It started with NJ. It started
before, like I said, if our pre-recorded conversations ever get out, we are done. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys can follow me at CEO Hayes. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube.
The kids involved.
No, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, anywhere you want us, you can get us. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Peace, y'all. That's crazy. Do you want your kids involved?
I didn't want the kids involved. Oh, God, that's fun. That's such a Chicago joke at this point.
Yeah, bro. It's in the culture at this point.